In the complex and ever-evolving landscape of South Asian geopolitics, few events carry as much weight as Pakistan's recent decision to suspend the Simla Agreement. This pivotal move has sent shockwaves through diplomatic circles, raising pressing questions about regional stability, the future of bilateral relations, and the unintended consequences that might follow. To understand why this action may ultimately harm Pakistan more than India, it's essential to revisit the origins and significance of the Simla Agreement itself. The Simla Agreement was born out of the ashes of the 1971 war, a conflict that not only redrew borders, but also altered the very fabric of the subcontinent. After a decisive defeat, Pakistan faced the loss of its eastern wing, leading to the creation of Bangladesh. In the aftermath, both India and Pakistan recognized the urgent need to establish a framework that could manage future tensions and prevent another catastrophic conflict. Thus, in July 1972, leaders from both nations convened in the hill town of Simla, seeking a new path forward. At the heart of the Simla Agreement were three foundational principles. First, the commitment to bilateralism. Disputes, especially the sensitive issue of Kashmir, were to be resolved directly between India and Pakistan, without inviting third-party intervention. This clause was particularly significant, as it aimed to keep external powers from exacerbating an already volatile situation. Second, both countries agreed to respect the line of control, the de facto border in Jammu and Kashmir, maintaining the ceasefire line established after the war. Finally, the agreement emphasized peaceful dispute resolution, underscoring dialogue and negotiation over military confrontation. The Simla Agreement was not merely a diplomatic nicety. It was a hard-won commitment, forged in the crucible of war between two nuclear-armed neighbors. For decades, it served as the bedrock of their uneasy peace, providing a mechanism to de-escalate crises and maintain a fragile equilibrium in the region. One often overlooked aspect of this agreement is the extraordinary gesture India made in its aftermath. Despite its victory on the battlefield, India chose to return over 13,000 square kilometers of territory it had captured during the war. This act of goodwill was almost unprecedented in modern history. A defeated nation regaining its lands not through further conflict, but through negotiation and trust building. For Pakistan, it was a lifeline, allowing it to recover from a devastating loss and begin the process of national healing. For India, it was a statement of intent, a commitment to peace over conquest. Fast forward to today, and the decision by Pakistan to suspend the Simla Agreement represents a dramatic departure from this legacy. By doing so, Pakistan is effectively dismantling the only diplomatic bridge that has consistently allowed it to engage with India on equal terms. This move, far from strengthening its position, may actually undermine its own interests in several critical ways. First and foremost, abandoning bilateralism opens the door to unwanted global interference. While Pakistan has often sought international mediation on Kashmir, there is no guarantee that external actors will side with its narrative. In fact, the global community, faced with its own shifting priorities, may be reluctant to intervene, leaving Pakistan isolated. Without the shield of bilateralism, Pakistan risks losing control over the narrative and the process, potentially inviting solutions that do not serve its interests. Second, the risk of instability along the line of control grows exponentially. With the bilateral framework in jeopardy, the mechanisms for de-escalation and crisis management become weaker. This is especially dangerous given Pakistan's internal challenges: economic instability, political uncertainty, and social unrest. Escalating tensions on the border could strain its already overburdened resources, making domestic recovery even more difficult. Third, Pakistan's global image suffers a significant blow. The international community values consistency and the honoring of agreements. By backtracking on the Simla Accord, Pakistan risks being seen as unreliable, a country that reneges on its commitments when convenient. This perception can have far-reaching consequences, from diminished diplomatic leverage to hesitancy among potential allies and investors. Fourth, Pakistan inadvertently weakens its own position on Kashmir. The Simla Agreement, while favoring bilateralism, also provided Pakistan with a legal framework to raise its concerns. By rejecting the agreement, Pakistan undermines its own arguments, making it harder to advocate for its cause on the world stage. Finally, the erosion of trust is perhaps the most damaging consequence. India's goodwill, symbolized by the return of captured territory, becomes a forgotten chapter. Future negotiations, if they occur, will be clouded by suspicion and skepticism, making meaningful progress elusive. On the other side, India's response has been measured and strategic. New Delhi has consistently asserted that Kashmir is an internal matter, while maintaining a firm stance on border security. India remains focused on economic growth, technological advancement, and expanding its influence on the global stage. For India, stability is the key to unlocking its full potential as an emerging power. The contrast between the two nations is stark. India's trajectory is defined by progress, rising GDP, technological innovation, and expanding diplomatic ties. Pakistan, meanwhile, grapples with economic challenges and internal divisions, making it vulnerable to the very instability that suspending the Simla Agreement could trigger. In the end, the decision to abandon the Simla Accord is a strategic miscalculation. It strips away the trust painstakingly built over decades, increases the risk of conflict, and offers no tangible benefits. Peace in South Asia cannot be sustained on broken promises and shifting alliances. Only through dialogue, mutual respect, and honouring past commitments can the region hope to move forward. The question now is not just about the fate of one agreement, but about the future of an entire region. Will this decision lead to renewed conflict, or will it serve as a wake-up call, prompting both nations to return to the negotiating table? The answer lies not in rhetoric, but in the willingness to choose reason over confrontation, dialogue over discord, and peace over provocation. Your perspective matters. How do you see the future unfolding for India and Pakistan in the wake of this decision? Will cooler heads prevail, or are we witnessing the beginning of a new and more dangerous chapter in South Asian history? Share your thoughts, engage in the conversation, and remember, the path to peace is never easy, but it is always worth pursuing.